I've been waiting for a day for us to get some new news or something new to talk about in the world of basketball news ever since the tragic news that we got on Sunday. And it appears as if we have gotten that news, but I'd like to take a brief second to say that Kobe Bryant would never, ever be forgotten on this channel. He'll never be forgotten by me, and I could guarantee that you're probably never going to forget about him as well. The Mamba mentality exists in us all to push through failure and to strive for greatness. Rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Rest in peace, Gigi. Rest in peace to those who lost their lives in Sunday's tragic incident. Now, thankfully, there's some news that we could talk about that could take our minds off of the situation, and that's what I want to talk about here today. And there's been a lot of rumors coming up as, you know, over this past weekend. I had a bunch of information that I wanted to get out to you guys, but obviously what happened Sunday took hold of me and pretty much was the most important thing to talk about ever since it happened, and it's still affecting me to this moment. But something that I thought was really cool was the possibility of Chris Paul returning to the Los Angeles Clippers. Now, I know some of you guys may be a little reserved about this, Mike. He does have the worst contract in basketball, which, by the way, I disagree with that. Apparently, the Houston Rockets owner came out and said Chris Paul has the worst contract in the NBA. And then he traded for the worst contract in the NBA. I think Russell Westbrook has the worst contract in the NBA, but let me know in the comment section whose contract is worse, Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul. I'm going to show you both of them right in front of you right here. Chris Paul has 2 years left on his deal, $41 million due next year, $44.2 million due as a player option, which, but without a doubt, he's going to accept, bro. He's going to be like 36 by then. Whereas Russell Westbrook pretty much has the same option, the same deal, only he gets paid $38 million this year, $41 million next year, $44 million the year after, and $47 million the year after that. He hits free agency when he's 34 years old, which is Chris Paul's current age. So you could pretty much make an argument that either of those contracts are the worst contract to have in basketball, especially considering the fact that, you know, Russell Westbrook's game may be a shaky fit for some teams, but I'm not trying to bash Russell Westbrook here. I'm just trying to talk numbers in terms of basketball. Now, before we get started on this video, guys, I'm dropping a new video on my NFL channel tomorrow, so make sure you're subscribed to that if you're a fan of NFL news. The channel is called Microphone. If you are new to my channel, but you watch a lot of my content, you haven't subscribed yet, please take a moment to subscribe because your boy's gone full-time right now. So all the help to make my full-time YouTube dream and full-time YouTube career possible will be appreciated. On top of that, I'm starting to make a push to post more content on my Instagram. My Instagram is @TheFlightMike, which is the same as my Twitter, the same as my Facebook, and the same as my TikTok, which is where I post my workouts. So I understand some Clippers fans' reservations about this deal. Mike, how can we make the money work is the first question that you would probably want to ask me. Second, why would we even want this? I understand point guard is a position of need for us, but for the most part, I think we're good, as Patrick Beverley does bring a nice little defensive energy to the Los Angeles Clippers. And you know what? That is my primary reservation with this trade, because the Los Angeles Clippers' primary best statistic about them is how good they are on defense. They're currently one of the top 10 teams in the league in limiting fast break points, opponents' points in the paint, opponents' second chance opportunities, and opponents' points off of turnovers. So if defense is your MO, you have your defensive head coach, you have, you know, Patrick Beverley, whose entire career is based off of defense. You have two great two-way players in Paul George and Kawhi Leonard. Why would you potentially want to sacrifice that just so you could bolster your offense? And I'll tell you why. And I know some of you guys are going to say this might not be necessary, but I think it could be necessary. When you get a player with a basketball IQ of Chris Paul, it could lift the Clippers not only in the playoffs, but also in the regular season. Chris Paul is a savvy veteran, but on top of that, he has a brilliant basketball IQ. And I feel like a brilliant basketball IQ is absolutely necessary given the situation that the Los Angeles Clippers are in, think about it. Think of all of Kawhi Leonard's load management, which I'm not dissing his load management, but he does it, okay? He takes games off. And think of all the games that Chris Paul literally carried the Thunder to a W, despite having a bunch of young players and Steven Adams as his sidekicks on the OKC Thunder. The Thunder were supposed to tank this year. The Thunder were supposed to be a team that was literally tanking for the opportunity to draft LaMelo Ball this year, and instead they have a opportunity to make it into the Western Conference playoffs. As a matter of fact, at the time of this video, not only are the Thunder a likely candidate to make it to the playoffs, but they could even catapult all the way to the 5th seed in the NBA. As you look at the stats in front of you, the Thunder currently have 28 wins to 20 losses in the Western Conference playoff race, which means they are literally only one game behind the Houston Rockets to get 5th place. So I understand, I don't mean to bash the Rockets, and they're just very easy to bash. I don't mean to bash the Rockets. It's just, they're like mad scientists over there in Houston trying to come up with all these ways to exploit the game with their deep threes and their up-tempo offense and their, and their James Harden and Russell Westbrook schemes and Mike D'Antoni and not playing defense. So I do like throwing shots at them here and there, but it's all in good fun. But the Thunder literally have one less win than them currently, and this is despite them trading Paul George and Russell Westbrook. Guys, I know I do this a lot on my channel, but damn, Sam Presti's a freaking genius, man. I cannot believe that. So here's what the Clippers have to gain, and here's how they can make it happen. What the Clippers gain is another savvy veteran who is thirsty, absolutely thirsty to win a championship. They get a guy that could create plays for them when they have no idea what to do, which occasionally that could happen when it's just Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, although I'm not going to say it's going to happen because you have 2 top 10 players on your team. Chances are you're going to make it work out, but Paul George and Kawhi Leonard would play brilliantly off the ball from Chris Paul. Now, let's completely take out the fact that it would be a great story for Chris Paul to return, and let's get you guys some advanced stats here. The Clippers are currently 24th in assist percentage this year, which is 56.6%. They're 20th in assist to turnover ratio. Chris Paul would unlock the offense by finding open shooters and getting the ball to Kawhi Leonard and Paul George in their preferred spots. You have to also understand, Chris Paul's been freaking brilliant this year, bro. He's averaging 17 points, 6 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1.6 steals, while shooting 48.3% overall. Now, in order to make this trade work, this is how it's going to look like. It's going to be Chris Paul and, I don't know, maybe there'll be some Schmo in there as well, or maybe there won't be, but let's just, for the simplicity's sake, let's just say it's going to be Chris Paul. In order to make this work, the Clippers would send Patrick Beverley, Mo Harkless, Ivica Zubac, and Rodney McGruger for Chris Paul. Now, they can make this trade happen. The OKC Thunder would probably say yes to that trade. The question is, should the Clippers make this trade? And honestly, when I see the fact that they would trade away Patrick Beverley and trade away Maurice Harkless and trade away Ivica Zubac, I am never, and you guys know this, I am not a fan of ever trading away depth for one-star player. Deep teams and depth is what wins championships. We've said it here many, many times on this channel. So I don't know if this would necessarily be the best move for the Clippers. It would be very risky. You're pretty much taking away the Clippers' Draymond Green by trading away Patrick Beverley. Like, his defense and attitude really gets the Clippers going sometimes. It would also rob the team of financial flexibility and an opportunity to make a better deal for a younger third star this summer or next season. But a big three of Chris Paul, Paul George, and Kawhi Leonard would be pretty interesting to watch in the playoffs. So at the end of the day, to put this trade in the most simplest of terms for you guys, is adding another high IQ, established veteran to a team that could use better playmaking, worth losing the depth that that team has built Think about it, Mo Harkless and Patrick Beverley. Not just Patrick Beverley, but Mo Harkless, Patrick Beverley, and Rodney McGruder. Obviously, Mo Harkless and Patrick Beverley are the more important pieces there. Those are two incredible two-way players. The Blazers definitely missed Mo Harkless this year, and they definitely regressed a step this year. Obviously, there were other factors that were at play over there. Jusuf Nurkic went down with an injury for the season, amongst a huge trade for Hassan Whiteside, which made them lose a great stretch player in Myers Leonard. But still, those two-way players, those two-way defenders, well, Patrick Beverley's more one-way, but you get what I'm saying, would be those defensive pieces would be very important in playoff runs. We saw what happened to the Houston Rockets when they lost their two-way players after making it to the Western Conference Finals 2 years ago. Once they lost Trevor Ariza amongst other players like Luke Richard Mbah-a-Moute, they were not the same team. So let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Should the Clippers pull the trigger on this trade, or should they stand pat and just let things ride out with what they got?